internet. This is the Poor Man's YGO, and who are we have here today for the first time?
Feck off.
Feck off, the other Poor Man's YGO. And what did
I
you
think you
play?
could have ended with just the other poor man.
The other Poor Man, a part of the channel. So, what did you run today at Locals?
Heroes.
And what place did you come in?
Third.
Third, with Garbo Hero.
Well, not Garbo, just incomplete.
Yeah, incomplete Garbo Hero.
Really?
Yeah, really. So, let's get right into the deck list.
Okay, so hero by hero, starting with the elemental heroes, because Justice League the deck.
Yep.
2 elemental hero Solid Soldier.
You know what he does? Gotta explain it.
Of course I fucking know what he does. When he's normal summon specifically, I get to special summon a level 4 or lower hero from my hand. And if he's sent from the field to the grave by the effect of a spell card, I get to special summon any hero from my graveyard in defensive position. It helps for using this guy, elemental hero Stratos.
Best
twice.
card.
Yeah, there's a reason it was on the ban list and now it's only at 2. Yeah, so with Stratos, whenever he's summoned, well, normal or special, so I can't say whenever he's summoned because that would include flip summoning, but he gets to use one of 2 effects. Either either add any monster with hero in its name from my deck to my hand, or destroy spells and traps my opponent controls up to the number of other heroes I have. And considering this effect is not once per turn, just when it's summoned, I can special this guy off of Elemental Hero Solid Soldier, allowing for other combos, and then use something like Polymerization or Mask Change to switch to send Solid Soldier to the grave and bring out another monster, and then Solid Soldier's effect would let me resurrect Strauss from the graveyard, letting me use Strauss's effect again. Monster Reborn! Anyway, speaking of searchers, Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. It's this card's in every hero deck. Yeah. When it's sent to the graveyard, I get to add a hero from my deck to my hand, like Stratos. Well, I mean, like the effect is similar to Stratos. I don't have to add Stratos in specific. But if Shadow Mist is special summoned, I get to add a change quick play spell from my deck to my hand.
Right.
Not that I ever really use that effect. All right, and then for the last elemental hero, we have Elemental Hero Honest Neos, just a 1 of.
Most annoying ass card ever.
Honest Neos is at its best at 1. Some people may put it at 2. I won't argue with it, but I think 1's the best. So that's the elemental heroes. Now Destiny heroes: 2 malicious, damn you ban list. 1 celestial.
Why celestial?
Because he's Pot of Greed.
Yeah.
During the turn, if he's in the graveyard, but it's not the turn he was sent there, I can and my hand is empty, I can banish him and 1 other Destiny hero from my graveyard, preferably the 2nd malicious, since I can't use its effect again, and then I get to draw 2 cards. And surprisingly, getting an empty hand is fairly easy. Alright, and then we have Destiny hero Dynatag. Its primary effect that you'll use is you can banish it from the graveyard and increase the attack points of 1 Destiny hero you control by 1,000. This is typically for Destiny hero Dystopia, but it has a secondary effect. If it's in the hand and you would take during a battle where you would take damage, you can discard this card, and instead of you taking battle damage, both you and your opponent take 100 burn damage.
That was 1,000 burn damage.
1,000, my bad. 1 too few zeros.
Yep.
The last Destiny hero is the most important one.
Oh my god.
Debatably the most important. Destiny hero Plasma.
Guys, don't underestimate this card.
Skill drain on legs.
And it can take an opponent's card.
Yeah.
Equip it.
It's like if Skill Drain, pay 1,000 and monsters face up on the field can't activate their effects, and Thousand-Eyes Restrict, once per turn this monster can take 1 monster your opponent controls and equip it to this card and gain its attack. It's like they had a baby. It has half Thousand-Eyes Restrict's effect. It can equip 1 monster your opponent controls once per turn, as long as it doesn't already have something, and gains half the equipped monster's attack points. And also half a skill drain, because the skill drain effect only affects your opponent.
By the way, I tried Heavenly Sphering this thing. It doesn't work. I tried flipping this thing face down with Ultimate Conductor.
That's because the monsters were on the field that you can't do anything. If the monster effect activates while the monster is on the field, it won't work. It will not work.
Summon limit this thing. Summon limit this thing.
You think that stops me?
It does, really. It stops you for a
Next up
couple
is
turns.
Vision Heroes. Now, this lineup is due to change because I'm missing a couple of 2 important cards. One of which being Vision Hero Ferris. Once per turn, you can discard one other hero to special summon this card from your hand. Typically, Shadow Mist. That way, it activates a combo. Shadow Mist, typically Chainlink 1, and then this guy is Chainlink 2, because when he's summoned, you get to place a Vision Hero from your deck in the Spell and Trap card zone.
And what's the correct ratio for this one?
You're supposed to you should have 3.
Okay.
Best to have 3, I just have 2, because that's all I own. Next up, I have 1 Increase. Increase you 1 at 2. This is what you place in the Spell and Trap card zone. It's either him or nothing.
Yeah.
While increased in the Spell and Trap card zone, it's treated as a continuous trap. So it's unaffected by things like Imperial Order. And so, and its effect as a trap card is you contribute 1 hero you control, summon Increase, as well as 1 other hero, Vision Hero from your deck. Vision Hero Vion. Vion, when summoned, Vion when summoned, so hopefully with Increase, gets to send 1 hero from your deck to the graveyard, malicious typically, or whatever else you need in there. And it has a second effect of you can banish 1 hero from your graveyard. Again, I'd recommend Ferris to banish. Get that thing in the grave and then banish it. And then you get to add Polymerization to your from your deck to your hand. Not a Polymerization card, unfortunately, just the base fusion. Lastly, I'll go through for the monsters. We have Hand Traps, 3 Ash Blossom, because I got this thing in Structure Deck Soul Burner, and it is great.
It's very cheap online right now.
3 Effect Veiler, because I need to stop my opponent. That's how you play the game.
No.
You say no to your opponent. But the thing is, once you have Plasma on the field, Effect Veiler is pointless. That's just discard fodder.
Yeah.
And then that rounds out the monsters. Next up is the second half of the deck, which is spells, with 1 exception. So we have 3 Fusion of Destiny. This card lets you fusion summon using monsters from your deck. So you can summon a monster that requires a Destiny hero from your extra deck by sending the required monsters from your deck to the graveyard. The only restriction here is it's destroyed during your opponent's next end phase, as well as if you can only summon Dark Hero. You can only special summon Dark Hero monsters for the rest of the turn.
Still pretty good card.
Oh yes, it is great. Next up, 3E. 3!
3 E-Call.
E-Emergency Call. Its effect is add 1 elemental hero monster from your deck to your hand. It's not limited to once per turn. It's just if you see the letter E, just treat that as any elemental hero.
Yeah. Also, by the way, guys, in one duel between me and him, I think it was like last weekend, he had 3 of them in hand.
3.
I can only negate 1.
All right. Next up is 3 Mask Change. This card, I don't know what to say about this. It's good. It has many uses aside from just getting out a masked hero. Like, for example, if you try to use Strauss's effect and your opponent Effect Veilers, for example, you can use Mask Change, switch out Stratos for Masked Hero Blast, and Strauss's effect will continue to go through, as well as Blast when it's summoned. You can have the attack of 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, and once per turn, quick effect, you can pay 500 life points to bounce one of their spells and traps back to the hand.
Yep. Do you run Mask Hero Blast?
I can, but we'll get to that in the extra deck. Anyway, last 3 of is Called by the Grave. You need this to say feck off to the hand traps.
Hand traps are not your best friend.
No one likes being hand trapped. Next up, again due to change, if this wasn't such an expensive card, 1 Super Polymerization.
Oh my god, if you had 3 copies, would you
I
be running?
love this card.
This card is no joke, guys. He is the luckiest human being on planet of goddamn Earth when it comes to this. Almost every other time we are dueling is either in his starting hand or he draws it.
Remember that time I drew Raw? Like, oh, wouldn't it be fun if I drew into Raw? Oh!
Basically.
That's the kind of situation I have with Super Polymerization. There was also that time where Jackie Boy Abyss Dwellered, and I'm like, okay, well, wouldn't it be funny if I drew Super Polymerization. Normal a hero, Super Polymerization. Your Abyss Dweller, my hero. Absolute 0.
He had a jingle with it too.
I don't remember what that jingle was, but anyway.
My hero, your monster, normal hero, super poly, summon, absolute zero. It's a little jingle thing or something.
I don't remember that. Anyway, the rest is all one-ofs. One super polymerization.
Well,
One normal polymerization, but one of both. One reinforcement of the army. Search just about anything in the deck. A hero lives. Summon Stratos.
by paying half.
Yeah, but it's a worthy cost, and one infinite impermanence.
Would you bump this
just
up?
because it's not worth having an entire section about. Would I bump infinite impermanence up? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Side deck
The
option.
thing about impermanence is it requires you to have an empty field to play it from hand. But if you do set it and your opponent doesn't manage to twin twist it during your end phase or something along those lines, it locks off even more of your opponent's stuff. But it's an expensive card. Honestly, I think I'd prioritize super polymerization over impermanence.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that is the main deck.
Going to the side deck now.
Why would you go into the side deck immediately? You go in the extra deck.
Whatever, doesn't matter.
Okay. Extra deck. So, 2 Masked Hero Dark Law.
Ah!
We know Dark Law. If you're watching this, you want to know heroes. You know heroes because you play Dark Law.
Dark Law banishes anything that attempts to go to the graveyard.
Next up, one of Vision Hero Trinity. This is for if you are ready to kill your opponent when you bring this guy out. On the turn he's summoned, his attack points double from 2,500 to 5,000, and he can attack 3 times per battle phase as long as he doesn't attack a monster.
Or no, he attacked directly.
As long as he doesn't attack directly. My bad. Anyway, so you pair him with Honest Neos, and you have 7,500 points of pain.
I've experienced this many times, guys.
Next up, your other Vision Hero fusion monster, Vision Hero Adoration. I thought it said abortion for half a second from this angle. Anyway, so this guy, his purpose, he's really just there so you can fusion summon him to use Solid Soldier's effect. But his effect is you can target one hero you control and one monster your opponent controls. Your opponent's monster loses attack points equal to the hero you targeted.
So against like Borrelsword or something like that, that's a good out.
Yeah. Next up, the super polymerization targets. Again, you can change this depending on what you like, but personally I have 3. Starting Venom Fusion Dragon, Predaplant Dracos Depelia, and Mud Dragon of the Swamp.
Okay.
Starving Venom is Starving Venom. He requires 2 dark monsters on the field, so that's fairly easy to do.
Get rid of Colossus.
Yeah, typically, from my experience, your opponent will typically be playing dark monsters, and just get rid of, or even if your opponent only has 1 dark monster, you summon any dark monster, which is the majority of the monsters in this deck.
Yeah.
And when he's summoned, you can target one special summon monster your opponent controls. This guy gains the attack points of the targeted monster, and if Starving Venom's destroyed, it destroys all special summon monsters your opponent controls. Dracos Depelia requires a fusion monster and a dark monster. Super easy. Goodbye Vortex and Hot Red Eyes and Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. And its effect is, once per turn, quick effect, you can target one monster your opponent controls and give it a predator counter. As long as something has a predator counter, it can't activate its effects, its level becomes 2, and its attribute becomes dark. And then Mud Dragon of the Swamp is just for everything else. If your opponent doesn't have any dark monsters, you Mud Dragon, because its requirements are 2 monsters with the same attribute but different types. And its effect is irrelevant. Next up, we have Masked Hero Diane. This is what Solid Soldier turns into, since it's an Earth attribute. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can summon any level 4 or lower hero from your deck. Self-explanatory. Next up, Masked Hero Anki, a card I would have never thought of running until recently. But yeah, its effect is you already know if you play Duel Links. You can either attack the opponent directly.
Yeah, keep talking.
Yeah, you can either attack your opponent directly for half the battle damage, or you can attack an opponent's monster, and if it destroys the opponent's monster by battle, you can add one change quick play spell from your deck to your hand. So if your opponent has a monster, Anki, swing, kill it, add a change quick play spell, mass change to the Dark Law, and swing again, and you have Dark Law to screw with your opponent. Lastly, for the fusion monsters, is the reason we have Fusion of Destiny. Destiny Hero Dystopia. When he's fusion summoned, or special summoned, you can target one level 4 or lower Destiny Hero in your graveyard and burn your opponent for its attack points. We don't normally use that effect because we send like Malicious and Dynatag normally. But Dynatag is the reason, but this guy is the reason we have Dynatag. If his attack points are different than his original attack points, you can make his attack his original attack and pop one card your opponent controls. Free pop. Now for the Link monsters, now I'll go like this. For our only Link 3, we have Extra Hero Dread Decimator. Him and all heroes he points to gain 100 attack for each hero in the graveyard with a different name. And he specifically can do piercing damage. It's helpful. Next up, 2 Cross Crusaders. It is very important that you have 2 or 3 Cross Crusaders.
Yeah, especially in this format, because that new Rocket card, Silver Rocket or whatever, when it's destroyed, guess what? It can banish one card from your opponent's extra deck. You only want one Cross Crusader? Guess what? You just can't play heroes.
We were running
now.
Cross Crusader before Silver Rocket Dragon came over.
Well, no, you were running like one, maybe.
2 Cross Crusader all the time.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's always been that.
And now there's 2 reasons.
Yep. So, Cross Crusader's effects are, when he's summoned, you can special summon a Destiny Hero from your graveyard. And you contribute and a separate effect is, you contribute 1 Destiny Hero to add one of any other hero except for the tributed monster from your deck to your hand. So again, it's one of those search anything cards. If there's one thing this deck does, it searches. So if you're facing Thunder Dragons, good luck unless you have Super Polymerization or Plasma. Next up, for the last of the heroes, we have Extra Hero Wonder Driver. He recurs Super Polymerization. Lastly, we have Psyframe Lord Lambda.
Why? Well, you could switch him out for any like generic Link 2.
But Psyframe Lord Lambda is like apparently the best Link 2. But yeah, you could switch him out for anything cheaper, like Lanfrinkus, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, its only purpose is to get the super polymerization targets out of your extra monster zone so you can actually do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, and that's the extra deck. Extra deck is certainly up to change depending on how you like it, but the necessaries are 1 Wonder Driver, 2 Cross Crusaders, a Dread Decimator, an Anki, a Diane, an Adoration, a Trinity, and 2 Dark Laws. The other remaining 5 cards are up to change depending on what you think.
Destiny Hero, whatever, or the one you said you must. This is why you run Fusion of Destiny.
Oh, I've seen people use Destiny Hero Dangerous instead of Dystopia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then lastly, we have my side deck. You can put whatever you want in the side deck. This is just what I happen to own. And that would be 3 Evenly Matched. Honestly, I haven't used this card in a while.
Guys, side this out for anything. It's pretty expensive right now, but it's...
Yeah, and also I haven't really used it at all in the past couple weeks.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, so you're free to switch that with anything. Anti-Spell Fragrance. Well, I use a lot of spell cards in here, but honestly, you can play around Anti-Spell Fragrance very easily. It's actually not that much of a hindrance as long as you play smart.
Hmm.
And you could totally replace like 2 Evenly Matched with another 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance. Next up, I have 1 Mask of Restrict, just because some decks tribute, I don't want them to.
Makes sense.
It helps for like some rogue matchups.
Would you bump that up by any number?
Sure, like again, if you don't want the Evenly Matched, you could take out the 3rd Evenly Matched and put in 1 more Mask of Restrict.
Mm-hmm.
Next up, 3 Twin Twisters.
Oh, this was a fun story.
It's good.
Do
you want me to say what happened today?
Yes.
All right. So on a slightly unrelated note, I have one story about Twin Twisters today. I was going up against a guy who's using like a frog trap deck, like not like Paleo Frogs, but Paleo Frogs 2.0 kind of thing. So what this guy did is he set 3 cards. I'm like, okay, during your end phase, Twin Twisters. Oh, wait, no, it was during my turn. Twin Twisters. I targeted 2 of his 3 cards. It was the only 2 artifact monsters. The man set Artifact Lancia and Artifact Scythe. And that screwed me over. That cost me the game. But honestly, I wasn't even mad. I respected that. He set artifacts. Next up for monsters, we have one.
It's a kaiju.
One kaiju. You can make this any kaiju you want, really. In fact, I'd recommend Glamaciel, just so you could put. Or actually, you could totally. Whatever. You could totally put in one of the Omni heroes in your extra deck, depending on what kaijus you have side decked. That way you can kaiju your opponent, then super polymerization the kaiju with one of your heroes and summon an Omni hero. Next up, I own 1 Winged Dragon Raw Sphere mode, so I have it, so I use it. 2 Droll and Lockbird, just because I think 3 is a little much.
Plus fuck pendulums.
It's not really my thought process, but okay. And 3 Artifact Lancia, because... Okay, this guy actually has plenty of use. 1, personal reasons against this one guy who uses a banish deck.
John 10,000.
But also, Artifact Lancia can stop decks like Thunder Dragons, Called by the Grave in specific, is a pain. I was in one duel. I tried to use one of my hero's effects from the graveyard. He Called by the Graved it. I respond with Lancia. No, you can't banish. The effect goes through.
Well, damn, son.
Yeah, but a lot of things, and there's also stuff like Orcus, Phantom Knights. I remember I saw Jackie Boy go up against as a casual game. I saw him go against like Burning Abyss, Phantom Knights.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, Lancia could have helped defeat. Would have stopped the whole Phantom Knight aspect from working.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the deck. All right, so Zach, what were your matchups today? That's the thing. What can this deck go against?
Let's see. Would you like me to go in order of difficulty or just order of how it happened?
Order of difficulty.
Order of difficulty would be... Okay, so starting at least hard to most hard, I went up against a Blue Eyes player who... He made the mistake of switching from Battle Lost to Blue Eyes. Oh, I don't know what I can say about it. The dude had me on the ropes and used Battle Lost. Didn't do anything with Blue Eyes.
Okay.
See, where did I face in the other rounds? Let's see. I remember there was one that was in the middle, but I can't remember what I faced. Oh right, 6 Samurais. It was a good fight against 6 Samurai guy.
I faced him too.
Yeah, it was just a good
fight.
fight.
We're running out of time. Shit. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and